Now, Rick, what was the light bulb moment for you that made you realise you had to separate from your wife?
It was originally a post in the beginning that you put on Facebook about toxic relationships. And I'd never heard of, I would have heard of narcissism, but didn't really understand it until I read that post and the article. I realised that I was in that situation. And the advice in that article was, and in fact when I rang you up as well, was get out of the relationship. That's virtually impossible sometimes to do. How do you get out of a relationship? You've got a house, you've got kids, you've got bought cars together, you've got money. How do you just pick up and go? And you think, oh no, it'll be fine, I'll get through this. And you just get deeper and deeper into trouble. And it all blows up. And that's when I came to you as a divorce coach and going, help.
Right. So what do you know now about narcissism? What is that actually? What was going on in your relationship?
Yeah, well, weirdly, the first thing is, what I've learned about narcissism is that most people think it's always the guy being a narcissistic person, but equally it can be a female being a narcissistic person. And then the more I research into it, and generally tends to be a trauma that someone's had in their childhood that triggers this sort of behaviour that seems to keep them going. And I also learned that the longer you stay in a relationship, a toxic relationship with a narcissistic person, you start to become a narcissistic person yourself. And that's the horrible place to be, when you start seeing traits that you don't like from another person, that you start doing the same thing. You go, I'm in trouble here. If I don't shake this, the next person I get in a relationship with, I'm going to bring that poison with me.
So specifically, what sort of things were you picking up on in terms of your relationship?
I guess gaslighting is a classic one. Always putting someone down for simple things. You know, there's very little patience. You know, when you meet someone, there's so much love and so much forgiveness, but then as a relationship starts to develop, you know, you start to maybe lose a little bit of that patience. And that's the first thing of a toxic relationship, when someone's not forgiving or not being patient. And that's when you start going, well, hang on, last week was fine, why is it wrong this week?
And how did that make you feel?
How does it make me feel? It was a horrible place to be, because you conflict with emotion. You know, you're trying to be a loving person and supportive person, but the person you're loving and supporting is starting to be a little bit different, nasty, I suppose, back to you. And so how you respond with that tends to be nasty back.
And how did that affect your life as a whole, with your children and friends?
I was so stressed, so anxious. I sit at work sometimes and be shaking and going, what's going on?
Did it
and
affect
of course,
your work?
Absolutely. So I'll go to the doctor and go, I've got anxiety problems, take pills, go to a counsellor, all this. All it was just a very simple home situation that I needed to change. Change that, don't need drugs, don't need counsellors, don't need anybody, you know.
So what, did you find yourself in another narcissistic relationship after leaving that one?
It's funny, and you do. You tend to go for things that you're familiar with.
Comfort zone, is it? Even though it's chaos and drama, it's a comfort zone for you.
Well, it just what I discovered in the research I did, and I noticed that when I got into other relationships, is the narcissistic person tends to be very good at masking and hiding things. They're very good at wooing you into it. And once they've wooed you into it and got the control, and that's the thing, they got control, then their true character comes out. And then of course I do a lot of look at myself and go, is that what I do? And sometimes you catch yourself maybe doing the same sort of thing. You know, there's a mask, and you've got to make sure that you're not wearing a mask, that you're true
So
self.
in that next relationship you got into with a narcissist, did you pick up the red flags quickly and then depart from that relationship, or did you stay?
So what I picked up, well, it was a great relationship in the beginning, and then once the control was comfortable, the control came in, and as soon as I saw those control aspects coming up, and the gaslighting, first thing you know, the control is gaslighting. When they start putting you down for simple things, they start picking you things that weren't a problem before in the relationship. Maybe it was endearing that got you into the relationship. Now it's a problem, right? They want you to change. Why are you trying to change me now? Because you changed me back then, or not gone with me. So yes, those are the red flags, and then you go, okay, what am I going to do? Just put up with this, try and change, make it happier, make it be a different person, and then you realise, no, I'm in a narcissistic relationship again. It may not be really bad, but you notice it, and
you're able to pick up on that quickly because of your first experience with a narcissist.
First experience coaching with you, starting to see some signals.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are some of the strategies that you learned from me?
The first thing is just staying calm and being healthy to yourself, being good to yourself. loving yourself again. Because one thing you do notice as you go through these toxic relationships, you stop loving yourself. You start to see yourself as a person's describing you as being horrible, all sorts of things, and then you start to hate yourself. And then, so the first thing you were saying is start loving yourself, be healthy, go run, stop drinking, do this, do that, read more. Just take time for yourself, spend more time on your own. That was a very strong thing I learned from that. I was starting just to build myself back up again.
Good. And then some of the strategies in terms of not engaging, disengaging with them.
Yes.
After you receive a lot of emails and texts in one day.
Yeah.
And how you actually move back from communicating with them. So you teach them that, you're not going to instantly answer.
Well, exactly, because what their strategy is beginning, they will send a lot of hurt emails or texts to you that try to hurt you. And as you ignore that and don't fire back, of course your attitude is to attack back.
That's right.
But you pull back and hold. Then you see them come with the next strategy, which is a lot of love. Things that sort of make you feel that they love you, you love them, and woo you back into that system, and then eventually they stop, they go away.
And you were very good at instituting the Biff, weren't you, in terms of email communication? So brief, informative, firm, and friendly.
To the point.
Yeah.
Get to the point. This is the fact. Don't point anything out. These are the facts. Yeah, these are the facts, and that's what stick to it.
So, are you in another relationship now?
Yes.
And is that a narcissistic relationship?
No, it's not at all. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it's all things that I've learned from you and done my own research on. Obviously we go into a relationship, a lot of it's fate, not just looking for a person who's, so tall and so thin. It's like, well, it happens. And then you look, as you develop into it, it's a nurturing relationship. We're both enjoying each other.
Oh, that's really fantastic. So what advice would you give other people who find themselves right at the minute in a narcissistic relationship?
Well, you don't never know that they're narcissistic until you've had some time with them, right? So as much as you say, get out, that's the thing. You should think, if they're narcissistic and you've identified all those traits of narcissistic, plan your exit strategy and plan it, have a goal. How are you going to get out? If it's just a matter of stop communicating or slowly just pull out and say, I'm sorry, and be firm. Just say, I'm going to break this up and get out.
Any final words for our viewers?
It's okay. It does get better. It's like a bad flu. It will get better and you will fall in love with someone perfect.